Hello, Michael E. Parker here, ready for another episode here on You Are a CEO. And I want you to think about for a minute, all of us at times just really get stuck dealing with life. And we're all on some sort of journey, and we're going to talk about how to enjoy the journey and why so much of the past and even the future starts to impact what we do every day, how we live and how we feel about the things that we do. And actually, there can be some things that are taken away from us because of how we approach life. And being able to enjoy the journey of life has a lot to do with how we think about life, how we think about the things that surround our life, how we approach the issues, the problems, the situations. So we're going to unpack that a little bit today. And so I want you to really keep in mind, when you think about your life and you think about different things you've come through, different things you're going through now, all of us have to make a decision of how that will impact us. We have to make a decision of how that will make us feel. We still are in control of how we feel about those things and how much we let those things impact us. We can't change life, but we can change how life impacts us. And that all has to do with our approach. We're going to talk about that a little bit today. Now, I want to share something with you real quick. This is a good friend of mine, and I actually keep this in the car with me. And anytime I get some time to play basketball, whether I'm just shooting, dribbling, or, playing a little casual basketball with some friends, this brings a certain amount of joy to me. What's interesting about different things that bring joy to us, there's always certain stories and things behind it. And did you know, actually for my life, some of you know, I went through a lot as a young man. Where, there was a period in my life where I was living in a household with my mom. There was a lot of domestic violence. There was a lot of different situations and different, things that were very stressful for a young kid to have to go through. All the late nights, some of the scary moments, times I thought I would lose my life. And I never forget, finally, coming through certain things. And even though I was surrounded by a lot of stress, I started taking up this sport of basketball. Now, it might seem like something small, but one thing for especially kids, when you get really stressed, when there's really, really a lot going on, just very, very traumatic stuff, you look for an outlet. You look for somewhere to go. You look for something to act as if what you're going through is not there. You look for a way to disconnect and to live vicariously through something else. And all of us do that, right? And there's a certain amount of joy we can draw from different things in life. Some people, it might have been drawing, it might have been writing. Some people, it might have been communicating, talking. Sometimes people got into things they shouldn't get into, right? But it helped them escape their situation. Some people took up sports, some took some type of art up, or some people got into a specific trade, found something they actually like to do. Some people, focused on, reading things. But we all found that something. And my point is, finding something that really begins to bring joy while going through different journeys is really, really important. And similar to what happened back here, I have to keep doing that in different ways and different, aspects of life. So keep that in mind. I'm gonna put my ball here away because I might start trying to do something else with that ball, just bouncing it around or something. But, when you think about really locking in and really understanding, before we get deep into enjoying the journey, there's a few things I want you to really think about and I want you to understand. So before I can really, let's go to my whiteboard for a minute. And let's say here, I'm going to create a little journey here, right? And so one thing that's, very important, before I can have a journey, I've got to have a goal, right? So some people, before you can even enjoy the journey, some people aren't even on a journey. They're just living, right? It's not even a journey. You can't even call it a journey because there's no sense of direction. And, a journey is someone who is moving forward or going forward toward a specific destination, toward a specific outcome, right? If you're walking or driving or moving with no goal in mind, what are you? You're lost, right? Someone that is walking and moving and doesn't know where they're going is someone who's lost. That's what we would say. This person is missing, they're lost. So to even enjoy the journey, I must have a goal. So this is a very important element that I want to be able to be clear at this point in my life. What is the goal that I'm actually striving for, right? Even if that goal is to come through a tough situation, even if that goal is to meet a specific career aspiration, if it's to meet a monetary goal, a wealth goal, if it's to create a relationship goal. But whatever that goal is, this is where journeys can really be defined versus just living life. And you think you're on a journey, but you're really just lost, right? Completely lost. You're just living, taking what comes towards you. And you have to think about these things, as in every area of life. Even if you're a parent, there should be a goal you have for your children. There's a goal you have as a parent, and you're trying to get to that goal, whatever that goal is, whatever you're trying to get those kids to, whatever you're trying to get to as a mom or a father, what you're trying to do, as in a relationship, whether that's a marriage or if you're dating, if you're dealing with something on a job and you have a goal of actually achieving something in that career and you want to get to a certain level, now a journey starts, right? Because I'm trying to get somewhere. There's something I'm trying to do. Now, when you think about that, for me to have a goal, another thing that is very important here is I have to first have a desire, right? So I'm only setting a goal because I have a desire to get somewhere, right? Someone is setting a goal to lose 20 pounds has a desire to lose weight. Someone that has a goal to get a degree has a desire to be able to have a better job, a better career, right? It goes on and on. Someone who has a goal of buying a rental property has a desire to be able to create some wealth, and to, be able to position themselves for more wealth. So every goal, it is still tied back to a desire. So sometimes a big challenge is people don't have a desire. They don't have enough desire to even create a goal. So we want to make sure there's enough desire for something you're trying, to get better, to achieve, something you're trying to build that causes you to want to achieve a goal. And that is what, through some of the toughest things that I've been through in life and in my career and in my businesses, there was always a goal. Even if I find myself in a difficult situation, my goal is to get out of that situation. And I have a desire to get out of that situation. Some people lose their desire to get out of bad situations. The bad situation is, it is what it is. But do you have a desire to get out of that situation? And if you do, what is the goal that how would you define that goal that means you are out of that situation or you are where you want to be? So here's another thing to keep in mind. So for me to actually have that desire, there's another thing that's important, and that is hope. Now, I know when you hear the word hope, you think something maybe religious or something, but hope is to have an expectation of something better, an expectation of something good, an expectation of something that's going to do you well, right? So when you have a hope that something can be better, it creates a desire to want to do that thing, which again allows me to create a goal, right? So hope leading to a desire, leading to a goal is very important. So some people have a feeling of hopelessness, and someone has a feeling of hopelessness, there is no desire, right? If there's a feeling of hopelessness, there's no desire there. And if there's no desire there, no one will create a goal. So the key is you have to ask yourself that, there's some level of hope that there are things in your life that can be better. If you have no hope there's nothing that there is an expectation that things could be better. You lose that desire. When you stop hoping, you die. A part of you dies, right? So you have to make sure that there still is a hope my relationship could be better. I have a hope that my business can grow. I have a hope that I'm actually going to be able to turn things around with my family or with this particular relationship situation, whatever it is. From there, a desire begins to turn on that it's possible. And then you start to set a goal. And once you have that goal, the journey begins, right? The journey begins. So now when we look at this journey here, there's something that starts to happen. So while I'm on this journey, I can have feelings of anxiety, or I can have feelings of anticipation. Now, something I want you to realize about both of these is that anxiety and anticipation are both things that you feel that are based on something that has not happened yet, right? So I'm gonna say that again. Both anxiety and anticipation are things that you feel that is based on something that has not happened yet. So when you think about anxiety and anticipation, one is it is a feeling that everything will go wrong in the future. And that is why I have anxiety. I will not be able to achieve that thing. I will not be able to grow. I will not be better. I will not be able to achieve what I want. Anticipation is also something that has not happened yet, but anticipation is a feeling I get of what it's going to feel like to actually achieve that thing, or to be able to win, or to be able to be successful at what I'm trying to do. So while we're on this journey, we have to manage, am I actually in too much of a state of anxiety versus anticipation? And how do I switch into the right feeling? How do I control that right feeling? By being able to be conscious of what's happening while I'm on my journey. So this is something I want you to keep in mind, right? So this is something that, again, is always happening. Now, it probably, hopefully you all are following this. I want to remind you, if you're just getting here, we're talking about enjoying the journey. I want to remind you to like and subscribe and to comment and to share this YouTube channel. For those of you that are here with me live and those who will see this later, make sure you continue to share this channel. Now, I want to just, again, when we think about that journey and kind of the illustration, it kind of, even though I show kind of a simple journey there, it's probably more like this, right? Where we're on a journey and we get to, sorry about that, we get to a goal. Let's call that goal 1, right? And then something else begins to come up and we get to, so this is kind of life, right? So what's happening is there's these sub journeys that are happening all the time. It's like someone said, I'm going to get my degree. Then they get the degree. Now what? Right? Someone said, I'm going to get this job. And you got the job. So now what? So it just keeps on moving, right? And we keep going through these twists and turns of life. And the thing about it is, so we start to see that there are these journeys that are happening all the time. And there are several different journeys that you end up going on as you strive to meet certain goals, right? And again, we talked about, for me to even do that, there's got to be some hope there. There's got to be some desire. Now, the key is, in each of these journeys that we embark upon, when we meet a goal, we start going on our next journey. And sometimes we have many journeys going on at the same time. And if there's a lot of anxiety about each of those journeys at the same time, can you imagine how someone will feel? Because they always feel this sense of anxiety just coming from many different journeys that they're kind of on right now. So first of all, you got to begin to evaluate how many journeys are you on, and are those the journeys you want to be on? And that's evaluating what goals are you striving for? Are you striving for the right things at this point in your life? What is the things you should be striving for, right? Because there's a certain desire there, and there's a hope that you have of what that can actually create for you if you were to achieve that goal. And so as you start to evaluate that and start to see all these journeys begin to come about, you start to see that there is something specific to how we think while we're on these journeys. And now that we've established where these journeys come from, how they're created, and what actually can, what feelings you can have while you're on them, I want you to think about a few different things. Now, here's some things I want you to consider here. So one thing is, stop waiting. Stop waiting. How would I put this? Stop waiting to be happy. Right? Did you know a lot of times, because we don't know how to enjoy the journey, we're always thinking that happiness is over there. Like, once I get this done, once I get to the goal, right? Then I'll be happy. And then a lot of times people get to that goal and they still don't have that feeling of happiness and joy that they want. So what we're learning to do is how to enjoy the journey that we're on and to give yourself permission to be happy about certain things in your life right now. I don't care what you're going through. I don't care what you're faced with. There is always something right now that you can point to that you can be happy about, even if it's the fact that you're alive, right? And it takes something to, despite the situation, to learn how to find a way to keep yourself in a mindset of enjoying what you're doing, enjoying what's going on, and also being willing to create those moments while you're on your journey, right? I used basketball as an example earlier, right? And I still got my friend here. I got me a little prop with me here today. So some of y'all might have missed my story earlier, but this right here, I mean, it just feels good just to have it, right? Because of where I was at in my life when I started to take up basketball and what it did for me, the outlet that it gave me. And there are other things today, that give me that sense of joy as well, right? I like to swim. I like music and learning more on the piano. Sometimes I like to draw. I like to, be able to, do things like, board games that I like, whether that's, sequence or dominoes or something, right? And then sometimes it could be, just being able to have time to learn. I enjoy learning. I don't know about some of you, but I enjoy learning. I like learning new things. I like learning about, science, about history, about how the body works, I like learning about nature, about animals, and it brings a certain amount of joy to discover just the magnificence of how certain things were made. And you have to think about those things for you. Like, what are some of those things for you? And how can you, while on your journey, make sure you have these moments to be able to do some of those things that you enjoy and to appreciate certain things about your life? Because no one's going to do that for you, right? No one's going to do that for you. And I don't know if you ever think about, you look back sometime and you start thinking, you say, man, this was a real precious moment in my life, but you really didn't notice it at the time. And even though there was some other ugly stuff going on too, but there was this one part that you really, appreciated, but you didn't have the time to really, really, connect with the thing that you really liked and enjoyed. And sometimes things are moving so fast that you don't realize that the moment you might be in is more precious than you think. The people that are around you are more precious than you think. The moments that you share doing certain things are more valuable than you think. And the next thing you know, you look up and that time is gone. I got a birthday coming up soon. Can't believe another year has gone by. And it's just like you blink and another year has went by, right? More time has went by. It's like I was, you remember being a kid and then just boom, everything begins to change. If you don't take the time to notice and be intentional about the things you want to enjoy right now, the things around you right now, that are enjoyable. That don't mean everything is perfect. Of course it's not. But there are things that if you're not careful, you won't take the time. Sometimes you ever notice that, everything is so fast paced right now, right? It's like literally almost do everything with a phone in our hand, right? Even you sitting down together and you're watching a movie together, if you're, talking with people, it's hard to even just enjoy that journey, right? The journey of conversation, right? It's like, and we're all guilty. I'm guilty. It's like, my goodness, I'm so used to getting information. I'm so connected to just so much things. So it's almost like it's hard to just take the time to appreciate the things that are going on, right? So we have to think about that. How do I take the time to enjoy the journey more? What can I do to really slow down and kind of smell the flowers a little bit? Because sometimes, next thing you know, things go by and that whole, like a chunk of your life went by and you didn't take the time to appreciate certain things that were there or to do some of the things that are really important to you. Now, let's look at another element of this. So, again, stop waiting to appreciate what you have right now. So this is another thing. We don't want to, feel like we don't want to not appreciate what we have right now, right? Another thing, I kind of mentioned it, stop spending time, here's another one. Stop spending time with people I'm going to say who bring negative energy. These are things that just stop you from enjoying the journey, right? It literally stops you from enjoying the journey. Just being around people who always have negative energy, right? It's like you can't enjoy your journey because there's always these people around you that are always looking at the wrong thing. They see things the wrong way. And sometimes you literally have to get away from people that just don't see things right. They just don't think right. And you try to make excuses for them. You try to, you want to fix certain things, but you have to realize that there's some people, when it comes to certain aspects of your life, you just have to separate from, because the energy they bring, it just starts taking some of the joy out of your journey. Even when you're trying to achieve certain things, there's some people that you can tell don't believe you can do what you want to do. They don't believe you can head where you're trying to head. They don't believe you can achieve what you're trying to achieve. And if you keep being around people that feel that way, what do? They take that out of your journey, right? It causes you not to, it leans you more toward that anxiety versus the anticipation. So getting around people that actually help to stir up the anticipation, that actually are, and the people that tend to do that is people who are actually trying to meet goals themselves. So what? If you're around people that are not trying to meet goals themselves, they have no desire, they have no hope in terms of being better than where they are now, well, what can they give you? And people will always try to put on you what they're dealing with and what their limitations. They'll try to put that on you, right? Because they struggle with this. And as soon as you bring things up, no matter what part you're in, whatever you're dealing with, a health condition, you're dealing with family struggles, parental struggles, marital struggles, career struggles, business struggles, right? Well, who hasn't been through a struggle? Who hasn't come through something? And some people, despite what they came through, they still had hope. If I would have lost my hope because of everything that went wrong in parts of my life, and some of you know my journey, I wouldn't be here today. I had to keep a hope. And because of that hope, it fired up a desire. Because of that desire, I started setting goals that would take me out of the situations that I was in. And if I would have keep being around people, there were some people I had to separate myself from, even that were in my family, because they had the wrong energy. They didn't have the hope that I wanted. So we have to think about who are we allowing, right? Who are we allowing to take that away from us? While this is your journey. It's not theirs. This is your journey. So not allowing someone to do that. And here's one more that I want to give you. Stop finding excuses. Write that better. To dwell on the past. This is a big one. Now, I want you to notice here, I said finding excuses, meaning what? I was looking for them, right? So finding excuses mean I was looking for excuses. I'm trying to find a way to think about the past and let the past determine why I'm going to have a bad future. And that's why when I talked about this segment, you heard me talk about the past and the future and our perspective of it causing us not to enjoy the journey. Why? Because the past is something that does not have to be repeated, because we are individuals that can create and we can decide every single day what we want to do. So the past is not a period, it's a comma. And when we understand the past is a comma and not a period, then we'll not let the past dictate what's possible as we move forward. Then there's the future. The fact that I cannot control the future, but I can control whether or not I have anxiety about the future or anticipation. So I have to think about how can I create more desire of anticipation, which will lead me to a goal, versus desire of anxiety that will lead me to stagnation, right? To not being able to actually not only not reach the goal, but to not enjoy the journey. So I want each of you that will hear this to think about the fact that no matter what journey that you're on, no matter what is going on right now, the fact still remains that you are here. The fact still remains that you have opportunity in front of you because you're still here. The fact remains you always have a choice. You always have the ability and the power to decide what's next. And because of that, we call you a CEO. You are the executive of the next decision you make. And not only that, you're the executive of how you think before you make that decision, which determines how you feel. And so as an executive leader of your own life, when you think about that journey from where you are now to where you want to be, stop to really appreciate everything that's going on around you. Look around you and appreciate that friend that's a good friend. Appreciate that thing at work that is enjoyable. Appreciate that time in your life that you can take to do the things that you really like to do. Appreciate the people around you that's trying to do what you're trying to do in terms of meeting a goal. Appreciate the things around you that are working. Because the things that don't work are so loud in our life, we can't think about the things that do work, the things that are good, the things that are, that we are so grateful for. Because you know why? Our mind, we have automatic negative thoughts. We think way more about the things that don't work than the things that do. We have to be intentional about making ourselves think about the things that bring joy while we journey. I hope you enjoyed this. This was a very, very important topic, and I want to remind you to like and subscribe and share and comment and let everyone know that here at this channel, we're talking about being the CEO of our life. And I invite you to continue on this journey with us, and do not let nothing take your joy away as you walk forward, because all the things that we feel still start with how we think, and that is a choice you make every single second of the day. Until next time, I'm Michael E. Parker, and keep getting out there, enjoying your journey, and don't let anything stop that, because you're in control. I'll see you next time.